Hello, welcome back to the OnlyFabs channel. This Fordson Major behind me is my personal project. I'm on putting a Cummins 6BT in it with a big Bosch injector pump, big injectors, big injector lines, big turbo, obviously for tractor pulling. I do have some New Holland mud guards as well when I get that far. So the idea is to make it look like a T7 270. Whether that quite comes to fruition or not, hopefully you guys will stick about and watch to see. But today's video is on a major that we've made a roll frame for a friend of mine, and basically he contacted me and said, I'm after a major, I don't just want a standard one. So we had a ride out up into Stirling and come back with him a V10 air-cooled Deutz powered major. And in hindsight that was a bad idea because it weighed too much, it was too numb, and it was just a bit too much of a handful because he wanted it for road runs. The brakes weren't up to the weight of the engine, etc, etc. Yeah, didn't work. Anyway, I'll show you a little bit of the V10, then we'll swap over to the major he now has, which is a 380 turbo cargo repowered major, which is what we fit the roll frame to. It does have lots of lights because that's what the man wanted. It won't be to everybody's taste, but it's more about the fabrication and the paint for me than whether you're like LEDs on classics. Me personally, I'm not a massive fan, but when it's been repowered, it's not a standard thing anyway, so it's not the end of the world. We're into repowering things, and this is another little beauty of mine. We've just recently painted it, hence why it hasn't got the headlights in, and it still needs the wheels and the roll frame painting. But that's a Massey Fergie 135 multi-power with a Isuzu 3.1 turbo diesel in. It's had a few tweaks and pokes here and there, so she's running quite a bit of horsepower. It'll do 40 mile an hour on the road, and it's just an absolute pleasure. If you're ever feeling a bit down in the dumps, 5 minutes in the saddle of that, and away you go. We overcome a little overheating problem when we painted it this time. I made this little tank for the front, shaped the same as the weights. So basically it comes out at the bottom of the radiator, round the tank, and back into the tractor. So it just means that that there holds another 45 litres of water, because it used to get too hot because the radiator couldn't cope with the heat of the engine basically. Anyway, back to majors. So yeah, this week's video is about the roll frame. So we'll cut to a couple of snippets of the major that we first got, and a couple of things that we did. We set to put a control panel on it because all the wiring was very vague, and some of it was 24 volts, some of it was 12, that sort of thing. And then we'll cut through to the cargo major that he has now. Now we did the roll frame and a few snippets of it done. And yeah, if you haven't already, give us a like and a subscribe, and you never know, you might see us again. This afternoon, doing a bit at the old major. This is our control box we're making, look. So we've fitted a switch here for the horn, a switch here for the indicators. These are going to be for the lights, and we have an ignition switch which will do, obviously, turn it on and off, the heat and the start. It has a voltage meter in here so that we can regulate whether it's charging or not, and also when he's going on long journeys there's two USBs so he can charge his phone, because you just never know. You don't want to be caught short now, do you? So yeah, that's among some of the TikTok creation today. We're obviously on trying to sort all the wiring and the lights out, so we're just stripping off at the minute. and then we're going to start from basics because we've tried testing a few other systems that are on and nothing seems to make any sense as far as it runs a 24-volt system for starting and the engine and charging, and the lights have been rigged up on 12-volt just to run off one battery, and yeah, just isn't very good to be fair. So we're going to sort all them issues out, put some different lights on and stuff, and yeah, hopefully she's going to be ready for the Christmas light run at Whitby. That's the goal. So it would appear there's another new kid on the block. So this time we've only got 6 cylinders, but we have got a whistlist nail. So there she be in all her glory. The next edition. So we're on making a roll frame for this thing behind me, and I've got these 2 plates here marked out. So basically I've got 2 pot marks on each one, and they're going to go on top of the axle with the roll frame welded onto there, and that's how we want to do it. All roll frames are like that if you know anything about roll bars. So we've welded the plates onto the half uprights, and these are the bits that go on the axles. These plates we've had laser cut, and we're just going to weld them on here like this so that the roll frame can be folded down to go in a low building, or in this case a container. And anyway, we'll weld these on. I'll put you on a time lapse, and then yeah, there we have it basically. As you can see here, we put the die grinder in the bottom of the stanchion to make the hole a bit bigger to fit the conduit in. So here we're taking the bolts out on the mud guards and dry running the bottom half of the roll frame onto the tractor to make sure when we weld the other half together that it's the correct width, so everything lines up. As you can see, the little lad's just helping us. He's in and out in between riding his quad. So now that we've got both of them fitted, we've obviously got a measurement. I can plasma out the bits that I need so that the wires can all go through. So obviously mark everything up and plasma out where the down bits are going to be, and then marking up here for the little lights across the back. So it's going to have 3 lights in between the 2 bits of stanchion, very like marker lights, what you would see on the back of a wagon. So once these are plasmaed out, then we turn it over and start drilling the holes in for the work lights that will be underslung. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell here, but we're actually fitting some nutserts to fit the lights in, which is basically another way of a capted nut. So you have a bit that's very much like a pop rivet, and what you do with that is you put it in the special pliers that you just saw, and it just nips it like a pop rivet and leaves you with a thread so that you can screw in the same as you would with anything else, and then you don't have to worry about being able to get a spanner to the back, which on this sort of thing where you're into a box section quite far in is an absolute godsend, because as you can imagine, trying to get your hands on your spanners halfway down this lump of box section when there's a load of wires in it wouldn't be the easiest thing to do. And then obviously welding the uprights on. Once they're welded on, then you can just see me fabbing up there basically 2 seats for the Michelin men, which we're going to put on, and then welding on the other hangers so that we can make sure this fits perfectly when we get it all painted up. So, a couple of weeks back, I took these 2 Michelin men off back of a wagon, and I said to my man with his V10 Major, I said, I've got an idea. And I could tell he wasn't too convinced, but it's turned out quite well, because we've done number 1 look, and I've never seen a flashing Michelin man before, but I think that works quite well. Now for a little bit of colour. So we're here at Durham Coach Works, and Andrew's going to demonstrate how we can put any colour into an aerosol so that you can do your own touch-ups. For some of you that's a good idea, for some of you it's maybe not, but we'll give it a go anyway.
Exactly. So we have a 500ml can. Put the little vessel in. Mix your colour. Fordson Power Major Blue. Put 100ml in. This one's a 2-pack, but you can put a single pack in as well. Put the little piston in as well. And pop it in the machine. Stephen's going to pump it. That's it. Ourselves, Fordson Power Major Blue. Top job.
So I was lucky enough to twist Andrew's arm here, and I got Andrew just to put me a bit of paint on, and just saved me making hash of the job basically, because painting's definitely not my forte in life, and Andrew has all the gear and most of the idea. So tonight we're at shed, we're wiring up this roll frame that you can see on the screen. So we have these work lights that double up as a strobe, the patterny bit in there also acts as a strobe. So with them to go on, with 4 of them in total, Then we have some lights to go forward, just some plain normal work lights. They're going to go forward, so they'll just be on a separate switch for like a forward facing light, as well as the work lights that'll go to the sides of the tractor and to the rear. We have these lights to go on, which are tail lights, indicators, brake lights, fog and reverse, I believe. So with them to go on either side as well. And last but not least, with some of these red LEDs to go in to the top of the bar as well. So, and nearly forgot. You might have seen these in a previous video. These were the Michelin men that we made strobe, so they're going to go in as well, and they're gonna flash. So we'll do a bit of a time lapse, and yeah, see you on the other side. So basically, we're starting to wire everything up. So I start by testing the outside light, or what you would say combination light, that's going to go on the outside. So basically test which each wire of that does, with not being your average light. Different colours mean different things. And basically I work my way over the bar as the time progresses, from one side to the other, and then we just run one wire down the bar and out the bottom, and then wire it into the tractor. So basically it's going to have all the functions on here. We're going to have the work lights, flashing strobes with the flasher on the top as well. Then you'll have your indicators, your side lights and brake lights as well. So I test everything as I go, just to make sure there's nothing off, because it's very easy to get it wrong. And doing it this way, which probably isn't the same way a lot of people would do, but I find it's the easiest way. It's harder to go back when you're working from one side to the other. So I like to make sure everything works as I go, and then it just saves getting to the end and going, I've made a mistake here. I do tend to heat shrink everything to obviously avoid any water getting in and corroding anything and causing problems in the future. Obviously it's a cabless machine, for all it's going to be stored inside. You can never be too careful, and for all it looks like a bit of a mess here, it all worked out quite well and nicely, as you can see. So now wired up, a quick test of the bar, make sure everything is working. As you can see, side lights on at that, left indicator, right indicator, brake lights, work lights, and then should be any moment now our strobes look. As you can see, it has the built-in strobes in the work lights. And there we have it, look, the finished product in all its glory.